Good afternoon, everybody. We are back out here working on the Hardbody LS swap. We got the water pump in. We got the new oil pan in. As you can take a look here, we go ahead and set that in there just to get a kind of a rough idea on where our, our pulleys are going to be. So this looks good. Looks pretty promising. I think we should be able to get it in right where we want it, but we're going to double check. So we're going to get this off and put the F-body pan on, and then we're good to go. So Eric's getting the new pickup tube on.
Yeah, see, so you used to hook it up here. There's a square opening. Now I'm trying to go into a round opening. Doesn't really work.
This doesn't line up with the stock windage straight here. So what we're going to see is if we can essentially clearance that some so we can still get that bracket down through and then get the bolt through it. You can kind of even see that location where it was hitting. So let's see if we can line that up. Total disclaimer, I have no idea if this is okay or if this is gonna fuck an engine over, but this is what we've seen on forums. Yep.
And everything else, since the F-body pan is so shallow at the front, there's no way for it really to aerate the oil. So we're gonna cut all the way back into here because this is causing
essentially our pickup tube is hitting, well, the windage tray and the pickup tube aren't clearing the oil pan, so we can't get the oil pan fully up on it, right in that front section. So yeah, like what you're saying, like on the forum, I've seen people saying just sip that off and move on with your life. And
we did a test fit with just the pickup tube and the oil pan goes all the way up, so it's clearly an issue with the windage tray. So we're gonna lop that front, I guess, quarter off and throw it back in there.
All right, so I went ahead and just ran that through the bandsaw. So it's 3/4 of length. Gonna get a can of ether here, whatever we have. Clean all the metal shavings off. Eric's getting it cleaned up now, so hopefully that works. Got it cleaned up. We cut, I don't know which end we cut now. One of these ends.
The front end.
Yeah, so we just cut through there and make it a little shorter. So hopefully it doesn't hit now, and we'll be good to go. All right, so for a little bit of recap, F-body oil pan, cut the front quarter of the windage tray out, which is basically at the second bolt back in front of that. Leave that bolt hole there. Then everything should go back on and should fit. We got the F-body pan on. Bolt it up. Windage tray is basically cut off right in front of this bolt where the windage tray cut off. So should work. I mean, it fits. Should hold oil. If the motor mysteriously blows up, we'll know why. All right, so while Eric's finishing up getting the engine mounts out, I'm gonna start working on this sucker here. We're gonna get it cut off and flipped, and I'll start fabbing up the replacement pieces for it. All right, so we were bracket sectioned, so we can do that. After flipping this, we'll be remounting it like such. We'll build down into here and make the weld that way. Okay, so we've got this tacked. We basically made a cut, flipped it, tacked it on there. We're gonna go ahead and bolt it back in to the truck and just double check that that gives us the clearance we need before we do any kind of finish welding on it. So we got the throw together bracket there, or the cross member, good to go.
Alrighty then.
That was like a Mercury or something. I don't know what that was.
Looked like a fucking
It was gross.
edge or something.
So we're gonna see if this gives us enough clearance with the motor. So yeah, let's stab this sucker in. So Eric's finishing up some welds on the crossmember under the engine there for the suspension. So based on what we can tell right now, test fit number 1's done. It looks like, you know, we're gonna have to modify that crossmember like we did, flip it, get the welds in, strengthen that up. Everything looks good there, so we'll get that ready to go, get it cleaned up and painted. And then the crossmember for the trans mount, what we're probably going to do is maybe go pick up an AR5 trans mount, you know, out of Colorado. We might see if we can use that to modify it. Otherwise, the stock crossmember is pretty close there, so we might just run a plate with, you know, bushing to make the connection to the AR5. So overall, there's some custom stuff here, but you know, everything's looking pretty straightforward. Nothing that was super crazy. If this is something we do too, like we could maybe set it up so someone just ships us their crossmember and we do kind of like the flip re-weld and then strengthening and then like maybe get it powder coated. So I don't know if anyone wants one of them, hit us up. But otherwise, I think, you know, we're kind of past the next step of fitting things together. So we have it in. We've got things test fit. We've got our new, well, our crossmember, repurposed crossmember in place. So that's kind of what we're working with as far as the engine and how it's going to sit. You can see our oil pan there, sitting up over the crossmember. Now that we kind of clearance that, and then drag link is clear on the front of that pan. So it's an F-body pan. Head under here really quick. Oh god, shit. So you can see right there, we've got, you know, 3/4 of an inch, so we could kind of come down lower, but we're trying to keep it clear over those bars. So everything looks really good there. Trans height is good. Show you that inside the cab. You can see there's the little hole there, and then the AR5 where it's sitting right now.
We might have to cut over into here a little bit.
Might have to cut there a little bit. There's also, like, I think we can give a little love on the side of the tunnel here and get this motor over some, but naturally anyways, as if these are some sort of wild creature, by production, the engines in these trucks were offset over anyways. So like if you were to look at a hard body like this.
The exhaust was over here, which went under.
Right.
And the intake was over here, which went up. So
yeah.
It made more sense to shove them over this way.
So you can tell just when there's no motor in these, you can see the tunnel's not centered, but.
Small block setup set really close to this.
Right.
They were definitely over this, and as you can see with the Corvette spacing, harmonic and everything, it's well behind this. I mean, you have almost 2 inches.
Right.
Maybe even more. I don't have calibrated eyes like Oren does.
Yeah.
On the drive shaft side of things, the T5 and the AR5 share the same splines on the output shaft. So we'll be able to use the drive shaft we already have made up to see if it needs to be lengthened or shortened. And then I think what we're gonna do is it needs to be shortened. We're gonna measure it and see how long a stock Colorado's drive shaft is, because it's over there. That's a piece of it.
Yep.
That's how we verified that the splines are the same. This is the Colorado slip yoke, and it went right in, no problem. But it's got a solid aluminum, well, not solid, but it's got an aluminum drive shaft. So we might just go steal the one out of, there's one in our local pick and pull. Shout out pick and pull.
Buy, not steal.
Yeah, It's not theft.
Shout out local picking part, stealing your.
I mean, good luck stealing a fucking drive shaft from there, realistically. But it'd be nice to have an aluminum drive shaft in there, especially one that's, you know, more modern than the steel one we have.
Yeah, and not a two-piece.
Yeah, not a two-piece. That's the main thing.
Right.
I'm worried about the power output because, I mean, the small block made maybe 200 horsepower.
Right.
This is going to be making definitely more than 3.
Yep.
So.
Yep. So I think we're going to call that a day. I think that's a good one for us. Just kind of be able to test fit and see where everything's going to go. I'm going to do motor mounts next and the trans mount, which will take a little bit of fabricatoring, but everything else should be good. So a good start as far as getting everything fit in here. We like where it is. We were able to fit a lot deeper than the small block. So that'll be the end of day 2, working on the old LS hard body swap. Like I said, happy with the progress we made today. Get things wrapped up so we can move forward on the next step. So we'll see you guys when we get to doing the motor mount and the trans mount, and then we'll have the engine in there. So have a good afternoon.